What does a little island on the Thames, just in between Richmond and Twickenham, just by old Twickenham, called Eel Pie Island, have to do with some of the biggest names and faces to come out of the London music scene in the 1960s? Well, to find that out, we've got to go back in time a little bit to 1830, when a hotel went up on the island called the Eel Pie Island Hotel. It gets mentioned by Charles Dickens, actually. People used to stop there on their boats and hang out. And it was already a dance venue then, which he mentions. In the 1920s, it was a tea dance venue. And then in the 1950s, it became a jazz club. And some of the biggest names from that period, trad jazz, Kenny Ball, who I actually saw, Acapulco, George Melly. And then it sort of transformed into a blues venue. And out of the whole blues scene came a very, very famous band. These guys, the Rolling Stones. And on the 24th of April 1963, they played their first gig on Eel Pie Island. They were all living in Richmond, actually. Did a residency there. They played at, I think it was the Crawdaddy Club, usually. Ended up doing a residency. And then a host of people. David Bowie, still called David Jones then. Rod Stewart, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, The Who, Pink Floyd. I mean, this is massive. This was like the place to be. And it carried on. All the kids would go there. It was all the parents didn't want them to go there. There wasn't a bridge actually originally. You had to get over on a little ferry. And there was a massive fire, I think, in 1971, and it burnt down and got rebuilt as flats. And that was the end of that. And today, it's about 500 meters long. I think about just under 9 acres. There's a whole little population of people live there in all these little houses and in the flats, a little community. Great story, actually. George Melly and Mick Jagger. George Melly one day said to Mick Jagger, obviously not that long ago, George Melly is dead now, why are you so wrinkly? And Mick Jagger apparently said, I'm not wrinkly, George, these are laughter lines. Well, these are laughter lines. And then George Melly went, nothing could be that funny, Mick. Anyway, I quite liked it. Might, maybe had to be there. So yeah, Eel Pie Island, the big hotbed of music in London in the 1960s.